What's up, SNA Assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. This is the AEW Dynamite review video for March 5th, 2025. Again, they were live in Sacramento, California, which kind of reminded me of a California version of the best city of the United States, which is Kansas City. But that's a different video for a different day about my opinion. But yeah, let me tell you, this was a very super fantastic show, with the matches including onto the mid card with the Radar Superstar Cope taking on Wheeler Yuta, and then the women's tag match between Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford against Kristen Statlander and Dolorosa. Which I'll say the shocking thing was, I'm gonna give a little bit of a spoiler before I start recapping it. That Cope did not concerto Wheeler Yuta. If anything, he did the complete opposite, and convinced him of not team no longer team with Mox, but it seemed like it all could just be a ruse. But then again, it could be a shocking twist into the matter, but I'm going to get into it later. And we also got another failed attempt of adding somebody as a member of the Best Wrestler Alive group, which I don't think is going to be happening anytime soon, that we're going to be creating this faction. And we got some other elements that to build things up to much more onto AEW Revolution. I would say, except for also the only thing that I probably disliked is the main event, about who won the match, and for the fact Anthony Khan is doing a pretty good job making Ricochet the most fan hating heel that he is. And if they're it's obvious that he succeed. He's leading into this path, and he's doing a very plus job of making Ricochet the most hated man in AEW, next to the bitch man Kazuchika Okada. Speaking of them, they're going to be teaming at the main event. But this is where we got a contract signing segment, and that good for nothing Dicky had Ricochet. Then it came out soon after Swerve did. This is where he was wearing that same baseball hat, which it was the show that said the Eagles is the world champions, which that kind of gave me and the fellow assassinators that are also the back-to-back Super Bowl Chiefs fans some type of PTSD, because it definitely hurt me in a very I'll say painful way. Well, I don't think it was. I think I kind of exaggerated. It was a black Philadelphia Eagles cap, which it shows the Eagles logo, which I would never like to see that ever again. But that's where Antonio Schiavone then asked him a very good question about where is Prince Nana's robe. This is where Ricky the Dickie's like, I left it at home. This is my robe, which I was like, what the hell? I was like, hopefully he brings that robe back, or else Hangman at Page won't be the only house that Swerve Strickland invaded, just to make a statement to arch rival. But this is where we got. And this is where Ricky the Dicky just start changing the subject, talking about that. I know we're all heated, and have some type of beef, but at least the house is not on fire, which trying to take a dig at what Hangman Adam Page did. But let's just say this wasn't the only reference that we saw, that's been mentioned about Swerve's house being burnt down. But that's going to be just a moment later on tonight. But Ricky said, I know you did plenty of these contract signings before, including for a world championship, which was last year, something that's never gonna be forgotten. Even if it's 10 or 15 years later, or even more longer than that. But this is where we got Ricky the Dicky then continues on this promo by saying they didn't really end well, did they, to you, Swerve? But don't worry, I showed up. I'm here now. We still don't have to worry about your. You don't have to worry about like I said, with your house being burnt down again, which he wouldn't stop bringing that up. But this is where it pissed off. This is where then Ricky the Dicky then ended this first paragraph on this promo by saying he's gonna be winning his first AEW World Championship before Swerve ever get the second reign. And he was like, I'm more up a few steps further, which I think his accurate radiator was inaccurate, because he started saying he's gonna go face Moxley, which I think that's It's not going to be happening both double times. Like both neither Ricky the Dickie's not going to beat Swerve Strickland, and I don't think that John Moxley is going to defeat Cope. For the fact that what this Cope did to his fellow to his fellow Death Riders, unless somebody screws him out, which I don't think even for that, that's still we're still gonna be Cope's moment, him win the world championship here in AEW. But it's where the Ricky the Dicky then finally say or it could be Cope, which he's also focused on, depending on who's gonna win the AEW. And he's like, now I'm focused, but he's like, I'm gonna be exactly what I'm gonna be is a world champion. And then it's where this is where we got what's his name? Swerve got enough for talking about it. This is where this you were entitled, you were nothing. He was like, you need to shut the hell up, but you think you're entitled of everything, which I was like, yeah, tell me about it, Ricky the Dicky. He thinks just because the Eagles won the Super Bowl, that means he should rub it into SNA's face, and he's starting to annoy your boy the Assassin as well. Which I was also like, he's lucky that I'm not in the building in Sacramento, which that's the home of the city of the Kings, which it used to be in another city where it was the best at the best city of the United States, which I'm gonna get into another day. But it's where this is where the Swerve you're so egotistical to the point that you don't know how much of a self-absorbed prick that you are. This is where the Ricky thinks are you telling me no? This is where the Swerve I did expose you, for the fact that you are a coward and a fraud that you are. And he's like, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm gonna do this Sunday. And this was you think the low blow victory means something to me? You think that's impressive, Rick? You stole that victory. And you also when you very first encountered me, I very first encountered you. You stuck me in the forehead with the pair of scissors, in the middle of this ring, right here, with the biggest mistake that you ever made, because you let me bleed. The only mistake you made me, you didn't finish the job. You let me breathe. You made me stand there bleeding. And I'm gonna be. And that same being that was breathing, is gonna be breathing down your neck, Ricky. And this is where then ricocheted and was like, oh yeah, whatever, woo. And this is where he started rolling his eyes, start wiggling and left and right. This is where the Swerve trying to attempt to murder a dangerous man in AEW is gonna be the biggest mistake that you have ever made. If not already, it's where This is where Prince Nana starts shouting whose house, and the fans are chanting Swerve's house, because that's a very catchy catchphrase no matter what city they go. And I hope that they keep him as a babyface in this manner for many more months, if not years to come. This is where Swerve Strickland's and that's where Swerve Strickland, in my path of becoming AEW World Champion again, going through, it's putting you right in the ground 6 feet. And he was like, there's only going to be 2 things that you're going to remember for. One of those things that Swerve's briefly revived your career in wrestling. And second, your ring announcer wife. And that's where he referenced some, and yeah, he did reference Samantha Irvin, which I'm not sure if she's going to be going by that name if she ever get back in the wrestling industry, especially if she's going to AEW. But it's where I started dying with laughter. I was like, I have to give it to Swerve here, for the golden trophy of Goofy Wrestling of the night. He did a very phenomenal job by roasting Ricky the Dicky, made your boy SNA to be a happy horse. Even though I'm not a horse, I'm more like a hare, a happy hare, I guess you say, because considering I've been compared to a bunny rabbit multiple times. But it's where Ricky the Dicky then took offense to that by saying with him making his career relevant, and also his ring announcer wife, that everybody likes to want to steal away from the Dicky. But if Ricky has no, even if I say it in his nickname, it sounds very I'll say inappropriate. But anyway, this is where fans start chanting "Holy sugar in the iced tea" or "Holy shit," whatever you want to call it. When they did not expect Swerve Strickland the mic him like what he just did. But they were not expecting Ricky. That's where then he took that personal of talking about his wife, about to pull Will Smith, but with scissors. This is where he tried to slap him right in the forehead again with it. But this is where Swerve stopped him once he got turned around. He grabbed a pair of scissors out of his inside of his coat pocket, stuck him right into the middle forehead without hesitating, and thinking twice about it. This is where Swerve Strickland yeah, I told you, it's a 4 for a 4. And I was like, man, if it, I was like, I would probably believe Ricky the Dicky, as much as I would not like that to happen, but I would expect him to probably win if this main event didn't happen. But I'm 100% guaranteed that we could be seeing Swerve be on his way of heading for the AEW World Championship. But that's how the segment ended, and this is where it was announced by Anthony Khan himself that it will indeed be Ricky the Dicky team with the bitch man Kazuchika Okada will to take on Swerve Strickland and Brody King, the respective opponents for this Sunday's AEW Revolution pay-per-view. But on the road to Revolution, this is where they start advertising other matches, which I'll say we got one that's probably I don't know what to say. I'll say tied with the women's tag match at the Bronze Trophy of the night. It's just that Cope and I'll say Cope and what's his name? Wheeler Yuta definitely didn't burned the building down with their massive performance. And I was like, hopefully this is the change, the life-changing version of Wheeler Yuta after this big old match. Despite not getting concerto. But anyway, this is where we got the 8-man tag match, which gets the Bronze Trophy tied with Megan Bain and Penelope Ford. And Penelope Ford against Thunder Rosa and Kristen Statlander, which it was the team of the two members of the conglomeration, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and then Will Ospreay and Will Hobbs, taking on the team of the Don Callis families of Murder Machine of Lance Archer and Brian Cage, and Mark Davis, and the Running Tree's very own Bad Apple Brian Keith, which hopefully you don't have a gimmick that if you disrespect Donald Callis, you're gonna get your ass kicked. And I cannot make a promise not disrespecting the family member of Donald Callis. But just that he's not the man that I respect, because for the fact that he's a conniving prick. And as for Chris Jericho, he's actually a good legend, which some criticize he's too old to be in the ring, which I don't think that age have anything to do. Sting even proved that, at the age of 65 years old, he still wrestled until that age. But this is where we got the 8-man tag match, which, like I said, Bronze Trophy tied with the women's tag match. It was totally phenomenal. It's where they got the match started off with, who was it? What I believe was William Ospreay taking on Brian Cage. Brian Cage is collaborating with a clothesline when Will Ospreay tried to get to the point and try to go for an attack, but he ends up getting ran right into the bottom left corner side. Gets hit right in the midsection, start hitting clotheslines repeatedly right onto the former AEW International Champion. That's where then oh, yeah, I heard about that. Monday Night Raw will be in the best city of the United States. And that's the only time I'm talking about the other company, of course, because, now that you mention it, thank you for giving a reminder. Hopefully that I'll see you there. We will have a great time, looking at the show right after Mania. I heard that all part of the deal that Endeavor did with the Kansas City Sports Commissioner. Yeah. And this is going to be the most exciting thing to talk about, which I said on my other review video, Monday Night Raw is coming to Kansas City, which I'll say this is probably the greatest thing that's probably going to be happening since probably until since WrestleMania that's about to be coming up. But anyways, this is where we got Will Ospreay go for a boot right onto what's his name? Brian Cage. He had a spinning back suplex back first. Then he tags in Mark Briscoe. This is where he goes for a wrist lock. Then he hits an uppercut right onto the ribs. This is where he's like, and then, and hopefully that Mark Briscoe don't take this offense, even though I don't think he would, because everybody calls it this, the redneck kung fu, until he tried to Irish whip Brian Cage in the right course. He gets countered instead. But this is where Brian Cage goes for Brian Cage try to go for a boot kick, but this is where he slide ducks from behind. Go for a baseball slide, like if he's his own version of Xavier Woods. This is where we got Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, glad we would. Absolutely. Yeah. So we have lots of fun. Yeah. And meet some of our favorite wrestlers in that company, of course. But anyway, this is where we got Mark Briscoe throws Brian Cage right into the bottom left side, then go for springboard leap, and this is where we got then what they did his own version of Karate Kid, Mark Briscoe, by going for the kick right in the middle, like if it's the original Karate Kid. That's where we try to Irish whip into the left side to the right. This is where they start going for some chops and elbows, and this is where he's like and now it's time for the finish off, but this is where he nearly gets back body drop, which I don't know how much Mark Briscoe had this many athleticism by flipping right over. Mark Briscoe then did it, hit him with a try to hit him with a big old right hand, like that slide on the side of his head. But this is where he ducks out of the way, try to go for a belly to belly German suplex, but he ends up getting insecure kick in the interception by Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe went right on top on him. This is where he started hitting some right hands, but the fans start counting along with him, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, and then I believe he tagged in Powerhouse Hobbs, which he started taking the turns on hitting right hands onto Brian Cage up upside, which he tagged in Orange Cassidy. This is where then he did Will Ospreay. Yeah, it was Will Ospreay. Then I forgot Will Ospreay. Like after what's his name? After Mark Briscoe, then he tagged in Will Ospreay. Will Hobbs. That's where Orange Cassidy hit a couple of punches. That's where he's like, that's all I need to get to do. This is where he's like, yeah, do you hear me, Donald Callis? This is where, but that's where we got Brian Cage and tackles him from behind, but a clothesline. Then this is where we got, but that's where like. But that's where we got Lance Archer then came in the ring. This is where he hit the spin around what they call spinning your Nagi slam that knocked him down. This is where then the baby faces were in trouble. This is where we got the partial powerful force, let me rephrase that, in all of professional wrestling then came on, which is the commercial break. But once we got done with the advert, this is where we still got the heel like was on top. We must be the powerful force must be a Murder Hawk fan for letting them do so. But once you try to go for a suplex, which I was fearing for him to do, because when somebody normally do it, what's it called in a certain time, like do a suplex, Orange Cassidy ends up getting the Stunt Dog Millionaire, but amazingly, that wasn't the case right here when he tags in Brian Cage, which I believe he's saved. Like maybe even Brian Cage, Brian Cage and then Mark Davis. Then was safe when Brian Cage tagged in Mark Davis that go for the suplex. This is where he goes for the standing suplex, which because they were just already generally was beating him up like to a point that he's too bruised and brutal to get hit with. This is where we got but yeah, this is where we got the what's called this is where we got the bad apple Brian Keith didn't try to get didn't get tagged. This is where we try to go for suplex, but this is where Orange Cassidy did the second most relevant reversal out of a suplex that he has ever done, and that is reversing to a suplex of his own, which is classic fashion. This is where we got what the Mark Davis ends up getting tagged in back in the ring. But it's where we got Orange Cassidy ends up hitting him with the Stunt Dog Millionaire, like which that's something that you shouldn't do, like if he's already in the offensive mode now. But it's where he ends up tagging in Powerhouse Hobbs, which he started hitting them clotheslines after clothesline. This is where he did the same with the other heels like Lance Archer, Brian Keith, and what's the name? Brian Cage. Funny thing is, they're both Brian's. Like this is where we got Powerhouse Hobbs and what's his name? Mark Davis was going for punches, but this is where we got Mark Davis thought he was gonna get the win, like with him shoulder tackling him, but this is where what's the name? Powerhouse Hobbs shoulder tackle him instead. That's where he started trying to close on the murder machines, but they still want to stay. As a matter of fact, they started close on with this is where we got a pattern like with Brian Cage go to not Brian Cage, what's his name? Powerhouse Hobbs go to the upper left side where Lance Archer is, try to close on him, but this is where Lance Archer was trying to play the two where he can play this game. This is where we got what's his name? This is where we got Brian Cage and then what's his name? Um uh this is where we got Powerhouse Hobbs go for a clothesline right onto to Brian Cage as well in the bottom right side diagonal. This is where then we got Lance Archer kicks him right in the gut when he tried to go for the last time. This is where Brian Cage hit a ripcord elbow strike. This is where he turned him around for Lance Archer gets strike. This is where we go for elbow and this is where they try to go for a clothesline, the front and back sandwiching the powerhouse man in the process, but he ends up dodging out of the way. This is where they nearly close on each other's heads off until we got what did Brian Cage go? I mean, yeah, Brian Cage. Powerhouse Hobbs going for a double close on of his own, going to the left side until Mark Davis tried to come in, but it's where he ends up getting exploded suplex by the Powerhouse. This is where Will Ospreay then was riding to the right side. Is where he told the other Will, saying like, "All right, throw me, bruv." And then this is where Powerhouse was like, "Okay, follow me." And this is where he throws him in an elbow strike right into the face. This is where we got. And when Mark Briscoe like, yeah, do me too. Let me just where he did hit a splash right on the Mark Davis. Like, hello, fellow Mark. And this is where Orange Cat's like, I want to go on your back and do it. This is where then they end up doing it together, adding more heavy, painful, painful measure. What's that heavy pain? Like heavy painful measuring. What's that word? I'll say. Heavy pain, I'll say level, I guess you could say, because these guys are on another level. Like what Will Ospreay like to say. This is where Orange Cassidy did the lazy elbow. Powerhouse Hobbs go for a pin. He would probably gotten away with it sooner if it wasn't for that meddling apple that do not like when people doesn't like it when people disrespect his teacher. This is where he's like, all right, you've been disrespecting Chris Jericho for the last few weeks. Like, I want to kick your ass for it. And that's where he starts hitting some left, right, lefts. And this is where then Powerhouse Hobbs like, oh, like you're really doing this to me, like of all people. That's where then he tried to go for a knife edge chop, which I believe not even Gunther would even be phased about it. Like this is where then Powerhouse Hobbs like, hey, that's all you got. Like like you're not even on the 1 millionth list of the ring general, which that's very shocking for the first time. Like an AEW wrestler will not get in the Gunther's envy list because of him being knife edge chopped. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Like we probably definitely see them along with the quarterback as well. Like let's hope that SNA could make it up there somehow in some capacity, which that'll be very great to do. But that's where we got Mark Davis then going for power sideways power bomb. This is where he slides down right face first right into the canvas. Brian Keith then tags him right to his back. Then the Bad Apple then try to go for a big boot. This is where Powerhouse Hobbs nearly stumbled, but this is where he was still standing. This is where he tried to go for another one, but nothing was not bringing down the Powerhouse Monster. This is where we got Brian Keith trying to go for an explosive suplex, but he ends up getting elbowed sideways, like knocking him silly. That's where he tried to kick him in the gut, but this is where he gets clotheslined by the Powerhouse Monster. Then tags in the aerial assassin, which he hits him with the springboard forearm. That was absolutely phenomenal, just like his idol would normally do. Which he's about to get ready to retire in a couple of years, but this is where Brian Cage then kicks him in the gut. This is where Powerhouse Hobbs, Will Ospreay then hits SNA's signature move, springboard flip right into the ropes, and then and hits a step up in Sagiri right onto the face of the machine. Then he went to the other one Brian to another because he went to Keith, but this is where then he ends up getting booted right into the face by the Bad Apple. This is where he tried to go up and try to go for a top rope springboard like maneuver until Will Ospreay grabbed him his head right underneath, hit him with a super kick right into his face, knocking him out. It's where then we got Ospreay going for the roll up, which is the devastation one. This is where Brian Keith still kicked out 2.6. This is where Will Ospreay's like, okay, like I haven't done this move yet, like along with the hidden blade. This was about the Os cutter until he gets attacked from behind. Then followed up with a step up in Sagiri. This is where we got Mark Davis then trying to go for a run, but it ends up getting spine buster by Hobbs. This is where then we got Brian Cage then go for a super kick. This is where he grab on to Will Hobbs, did it with that Uranagi slam. Then Orange Cassidy tried to go for a crossbody, but this is where Brian Cage caught him, tried to put him in a power slam maneuver. But this is where he ends up getting hit with a spinning surfboard DDT by the freshly fruit. And this is where the freshly squeezed fruit that could possibly be made out of entirely out of orange juice inside, which I don't know how that's possible, but yeah. he was coloring bright as an orange, but this is where Brian keeps trying to go for an attack because he knows that he's been disrespecting Chris Jericho since he got there for the past 5-6 years. This is where they start attacking. Like, you were the original disrespectful one, my teacher Chris Jericho. That's what Brian Keith must have said. This is where then we got. That's where Brian Keith hit a big old headbutt right into Orange Cassidy's head. That's where he tried to go for an exploder suplex off the top rope, which he hits the avalanche exploder right into the upper right side. That's where Mark Briscoe like he may disrespect the guy that beat me for my Ring of Honor championship, I forgot about. But you disrespect my conglomeration friend. And this way, I don't take that lightly too. So I'm gonna kick your ass. And this way, we start kicking each other's ass by punching the hell out of each other. Which, excuse my French for saying that word, but that's where Brian Keith runs to the right side, but he ends up getting elbow strike by Mark Briscoe. That's where Mark Briscoe gets thrown right to the left side, but that's where he gets forearm strike. That's where Brian Keith couldn't stand, keep getting attacked by the former Ring of Honor champion until Brian Cage came. Not Brian Cage, his Murder Hawk brother, or Murder Machine brother. What's his name? Lance Archer came in, go for a clothesline. This is where we got him then attack the Orange Cassidy. This is where he grabbed on the steel chair. But the thing is, this is not appropriate and legal. But it's where the referee ran out of there, which was probably the smart move before he got whacked. And that would have been an automatic disqualification, which the referee would probably forfeit any chances of the heels getting the win. This is where then we got Mark Briscoe took advantage of the opportunity of being distracted with the referee, hits him with a big old punch, but just went right through the chair and then hits his face like boom, like if it's Looney Tunes. This is where then we got Mark Briscoe then put the chair right into the left side, go to the right quarter side, hits a springboard cannonball over the top rope, with him waving the fans. The fans give him high fives and waves, and this is where he even kissed a little kid in the head, like if it's his son. This is where Will Ospreay hits the Oz cutter, like if he's a certain nice marriage American that does that cutter maneuver, springboard right into the corner ropes, which he calls it the Oz cutter, but that wrestler that calls himself what's that called? What's that? But yeah, Will Ospreay didn't hit the hidden blade, followed that up, and I'm glad we do that for you, man. Absolutely. Like as soon as I should order a T-shirt from that company like that's going to be in the best city of the United States. Just let me know which kind of T-shirt you would want from them on their website. I'll gladly will order it. Yeah. But anyway, this is where we got Will Ospreay going for the cover. He got the 1, 2, 3. Winner of this match, Will Ospreay, Powerhouse Hobbs, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, and Mark Briscoe. But before Justin Roberts can even announce their name, this is where Mark Davis comes in and attacks Will Ospreay from behind. I go for a sleeper, which was the plan all along from Donald Callis himself and Kyle Fletcher. This is where then we got Kyle Fletcher was about to attack him with the steel chair, but Mark Davis said, this is all far enough. Like I cannot see you do this to a guy that's like a brother to us. This is where then we got. And this is where what's his name trying to manipulate him of letting him do it. What's his name? Kyle Fletcher's like for your information, when Will Ospreay held you back, guess who was the one that was stood by your side through thick and thin and try to make your life even better than what Os was claiming he was going to do for you. Yeah, that's why you're so quiet. Now, do me a favor, and if you cannot stand what we're doing to our former bestie, then you might as well go back to the locker room where you belong. And that's where Donald Cal started encouraging him with as the horrible instigator that he is. And this is where. Then but this is where Kyle Fletcher. But before you leave, I need a favor to you to ask. If he's a certain OTC back a couple years ago when he told that guy that bearded underdog from Canada that told him to hit his best friend that he practically grew up with, and joined the wrestling industry with him, to hit him with a steel chair. Just kind of remind me of that moment. But except that but what they proceed though, Mark Davis proceeded to attack Will Ospreay, which he did right in his back. This is where it probably hurted him more than it did Ospreay. This is where then we got Kyle Fletcher, then that hits the brainbuster on the Will Ospreay right through the chair, which it shows some elements that we may not be seeing seeing Kyle Fletcher definitely going to be winning this Sunday at AEW Revolution. And then this is probably the particular reason, but even if he didn't do this, I would still believe that Ospreay's going to win the steel cage match. But let me know in the comment section right down below who's going to win this match. But this is where they did a little vignette with Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita, with them showing them that at the time in DDT Pro and I think even New Japan. That's where they said when the last time they fought was like almost 2 years ago at All Out. This is where we got Donald Callis like All Out, and I believe it wasn't All Out. This is where they showed him like when he hit that knee strike right into the face, right onto Kenny. This is where they showed, and this is where like I beat you. I beat you like less than 6 days. Like we so it gave a taste of people and what he's been capable of doing. Like the cat's gonna take your like not just to my family, but you're gonna also gonna take it on the top of the professional wrestling business. And this is where then we got and this is where the Kenny Omega's like if you can at least prove that you are the best, like at least try to do it in a very most honest and fair way to prove that you can beat me, like even on my level, or if you are surpass my level, like this won't be a difficult task for you to do. Basically, this is where then. And this is where next up we got the following match, which deserves the silver trophy of the night for a simple reason, because no more of that toxic, disgusting water. It's coming to a sad end, and it looks like Moxley's the only person that's going to be keeping that disgusting liquid, like okay, I need to shut up, like to himself at least at this time period. But yeah, this is where we got Willie Yuta then came out to the ring from the outside the building of Sacramento, which they were. And that's where I got started with Cope as soon as he got into the ring. With him, with Cope taking control, like with him going for a wrist lock. Like this is why I thought they were playing SVR 2010. This is where then we got that's where the Cope then try to go for a clothesline, and when I said SVR, it kind of sound like some kind of a virtual reality wrestling game that has a name of that, like it's the initials, like the virtual reality superstars, I guess you could call it. But anyways, no, superstars virtual reality. I meant to say virtual reality. No, Superstars virtual reality. But this is where we got Willie Yuta and Cope to start trying to hit the most devastating move in all of pro wrestling, which is the surprise roll right into each other. But what that didn't work for neither. Then with Willie Yuta getting the last say of doing so, it's where the Yuta tried to take advantage of an ankle lock. But it's where then we got Cope then push him right to the right course. Then use his foot to toss him like if he's using his own arm. Then once he got back up, he hits the arm drag when Willie tried to run up to him again. That's where he started going to like a little armbar maneuver. That's where it did, but it's where we got. It's where we got Willie Yuta then puts him right to the bottom right corner side, which Cope was hanging on to the ropes. But it's where then we got the referee's like, all right, let go, or else I'm gonna have to count until you let go, like, or you're gonna get DQ'd. Like 1, 2, 3, and that's where he let go. That's where he hit the knife edge chop, which probably earned himself a fourth place spot, I guess you could say, like if not a fifth place. That's where then he started ramming him like with his shoulder, driven the shoulder right into Cope's shoulder midsection. That's where he tried to throw Cope right to the upper right court side diagonally. But it's really way superstars and counters and threw him instead right into the upper right court side diagonally. But it's where he leap dodges, hits him a couple arm drags right onto the Cope. This is where then he drop kick him right to the upper right corner side. And this is where then we got him going for a kip up. This is where we got this is where we got Willie Yuta going for a splash, but he ends up getting flipped right to the top corner side. Cope did the elbow strike right to the face. Then he slides underneath what's his name, Willie Yuta. This is where he trips him right over face first, right onto the ground. This is where we got the partial powerful force and all the pro wrestling came on, which we all know is the commercial break. But once we got done with the adverts, this is where we got Willie Yuta was on top, like and once the headlock was over, this is where we got Cope and start fighting right back when he went right up in the top rope, just hitting some punches after punches right on the back of Yuta and counter to try to hit an avalanche maneuver when Yuta was trying to go for a high fly maneuver. This is where we got the rated R superstar to try to go for the impaler right into the bottom corner turnbuckle. This is where we got Willie Yuta starting them punches repeatedly right onto the. This is where Willie Yuta hits a head, but right onto to Cope. This is where Willie Yuta goes for a diving splash. This is where he tried to go for a pin. Cope then kicks out at 2.7 if I'm mistaken. That's where they tried to go for that Dragon Bridge Lock until Cope then countered into a crossface because like that move he's been doing for a long time, perhaps almost 20 years, but not as much as they used to do the educator, whatever he calls it. But it's where then we got Cope that hits the impaler DDT. Like after he got Willie Yuta got out of the crossface, he hits the impaler, which it used to have been called the Cushion of that's right off the cliff, which I guess that's the right term to put it. But this is where we got. But this is where we got Cope and trying to go for a spear. This is where like, come on, like I'm right here on the edge, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and this is where he tried to go for the spear, but this is where he gets hit with a Psycho knee right into that boom, like right when he was attempting to go for a spear. Yuta then rolled right out of the ring in the right corner side. Then Yuta then tried to grab onto to Cope, like to throw him back in the ring, just throw him right inside. This is where we got Yuta then try to go for a cover, but this is where we got a 1, got a 2, but this is where we got Cope get the right shoulder up. Then we got Willie Yuta try to go for a submission lock, but this is where Cope then try to roll right out of it, try to counter out of it. Yeah, this is where we got this is where Cope then try to counter and try to go for a glam slam, like or double chicken wing face buster drop maneuver, like something similar to his wife would have done, like if she was fighting Yuta, which that. I believe that's a tribute paying moment to his wife, which she's known as as a glamour Amazon, whatever you want to call. Like when you put it together, when you put the names together as a nickname, which I'm not sure if I should say that due to the other company perhaps own the trademark to that nickname. But anyway, this is where we got both Yuta and Cope. Then was like after Cope hit that face buster maneuver. This is where we got. Like this is where we got what's the name? Willie Yuta to dodge out of a spear, like when both men got back up, leap dodging with Cope and bounce right from the bottom corner ropes and back in the ring. This is where Yuta tried to attack, but this is where we got a third time as a charm because Cope was double cursed at the time, but he must have found it once he flipped right back in the ring and dodged out of a Willie Yuta's attack. Found it right behind him, right, and I got the third time as a charm. Like three. What's that called? The 3 lucky clover leaf card and hit the spear for the third time, which was the charm. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, and still, in the winner of this match, the rated R superstar Cope. And like I said, needless to say, like, and surprisingly, like he did not hit the concerto because it looked like Yuta just needs some mentorship of telling him that Moxley is not the man to take any advice to, or even he's not even a good father figure. So yeah, like no point of doing that. This is where Cope was like, and this is again, Cope was like, this is what respect actually feels like, you will. Like if you want to know anything about respect, this is where he grab his hand, shake it, then and then he left, and this is where then we got John Moxley came up. Like you really respect and shook the hand of that old inappropriate and legacy killing monster Cope. Is where John Moxley started getting pissed off and started pushing him around in his face till Will Yuta pushed him right back. He was like, I don't want to hang around you ever again. This is where we kind of tease the split right here. Let's hope that they're following through with this and not just some kind of a ruse. But what do you think about this? Like, do you think this is all just an elaborate trick to the rated R superstar, the Cope that has the hope? Or do you think that this is all just true and we can see this be in a split, and maybe we can see a split from one of Cope's allies in AEW, but that will be a different day for a different. But this is where John Moxley's like, "Look what you done, Cope," and now like this Sunday, like. like I'm gonna end you. Like you and I was I'm not sure if you with that threat of murder, is definitely not going to lead you anywhere. Like first of all, and second of all, how you're gonna end him, when you never did so to anybody on your own before. You always need the Death Riders by your side, like whether it was with the likes of Orange Cassidy or even your former teammate Bryan Danielson. But anyway, this is where we got John Moxley's like, you've been living in my head rent free, and you brought the worst in me, Copeland. You successfully rattled my cage, and congratulations for that. And the bars were there, for my safety. You he's like, yeah, you got me all over. What are you gonna do with that, Cope? What are you gonna do to me? That's same week. That's what we're gonna do. Just sort of you're not gonna do nothing. Now you are a radar superstar and you deserve to get your ass beat. And this is where I was like, yeah, it does sound like something that from a rated R film, but this is where we got this is John Moxley's yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass because I want to. He's like, I'm gonna feel good, which that sounds very inappropriate if you took it out of context. But this is where we got I'm always what are you talking about? This kid about respect? With a handshake? No, this is business. We don't do none of that respectful sugar, honey, iced tea. There's nobody's friend. It never has been and it never will be. Just ask former allies that I used to associate with over the other company that question, which they clearly would state there's no friends in the business. With John Mox is I'm the second guy, if not the number one guy. There's nobody in this business. You more willing. Yeah, and he said you pulled you know about pulling triggers before, before you got here and even after you got here. You guys should know you did it to me. Here ever since you've been here, 1 or 2, 3 times already. So in that revolution, there won't be a 4 Grand Slam. I only need to pull the trigger only once. And then this is where then he then breathed in and breathed out and said, I'm and I won't miss. And I was like, what makes you sure you wouldn't? But the only one way to find out is to see if he can actually be a man of his words. This is where we got the Outrunners then start practicing for their future AEW Tag Team Championship match, which I hope that they do get at least close into a 999 with one of their finishers, just to show a sign that they're not buried, or even hopefully they lose in a much strong manner. But the most shocking thing about this match, they're about to have a Bobby and Shelton, if they actually did win. And I'm not saying it by doubting it. I'm saying I'm hoping that they do win. But it seems like it's not going to be happening anytime soon. They're probably going to have to wait until the next 4 or 5 months. But it's where we got Hangman on a page pulled up. Brian Diddy outside. This is where then he start counting for Maxwell. This is where he started fighting. But this is where then Hangman Page thought he found him right from backstage. This where it was not really him, but let's just say that at first everybody thought it was, which I was like, how do you know if it is him if we don't see the back of his head? But this is where I saw the side of his head and look at a little bit of the front part where he threw him right to the barricade on the right side beside the ramp. But when they revealed who his face was, it was totally somebody else that was probably been getting paid off by Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This is where the Hangman Adam Page was like, where the hell is Max? And then this is where he gets attacked. This is where Maxwell Jacob Friedman attacks Hangman right from behind. This is where he's like, here I am. And this is where it came out I knew it. At first I knew that he was he had somebody to pose as him backstage, only to get captured by Hangman, which will be a perfect distraction, so he can attack him from behind. This is where it ends up his plan was successful. This is where he tried to hit them with what they call the heat seeker, which is the springboard draping pile driver maneuver that he normally do, which I'm not sure if it's a signature or finisher. It's either the one. But Hangman counted out the first time, and the rules of professional wrestling, even though this wasn't a match, but still don't matter as long as they're in the squared circle, whether if it's a brawl match, any type of wrestling related activity, it's still gonna this statement's gonna occur to any type of situation, which Heyman had a Page counter out for the first time. Heyman had a Page trying to go for a buckshot lariat. Like once he took off his coat, like when he put it on the side, like this is where then MJF then intercepted and low blowed him right into the Page family jewels. Like like ow. I was like, really good thing he already has a family, or else he would be lonely, which like something that you don't want to be. That's where we got Maxwell and Rose, the Hangman right into the bottom corner row in the middle row. Then he hits the Heat Seeker right there, which I told you was a guaranteed the second time around when you do. That's where MJF then took off his tie. Then he took off his dress shirt, which said MJF did not do anything wrong. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, or did nothing wrong. Yeah, he said like MJF. He wore a shirt that says MJF did nothing wrong. This is where he started attacking security guards to try to stop him do more damages. Where MJF took pull out his diamond ring out of his pocket, put it on his right pinky finger. This is where he kissed it while doing his pose. Then this is where they start grabbing some a small bottle of suspicious liquid. Of MJF along with that MJF was holding on to, along with a microphone, saying like, "Let's hope that you all hypocrites like will feel like when I do it." Like, and it's where he made a point about this, which I don't think like at the same time two wrongs don't make a right, but at the same time he has a point about calling the fans hypocrites. Like if they see someone like Maxwell do something what Hangman did, like when he was the heel, like everybody would applaud to him, but when MJF does it, it seems like if he's the devil, which I'll say that's true in some capacity. But I think like if you do this in general, like there's nothing right about this. Like that goes for even if it's somebody that's more of a fan favorite, or even like somebody that's like a or even that's the most likable person, that's still wrong is wrong. And this is what MJF was about to do. That's where he thought started squirting some of the suspicious liquid, which we assume like is lighting fluid or something like that on Hangman. This is where he tried to light up his match to try to set him on fire. But this is where luckily the security guards came in and tackled him like if he's Nick Persons from Are We There Yet from the Are We There Yet movie. Like this is where they stopped him and they looked like if they were police and they put him down like put him face down like if he's a terrorist, like and if the security guards are like police officers trying to arrest him, like saying, like, don't resist. But even though they weren't police officers, they were security guards of AEW. But I was like, it's about time they start doing their jobs. Like, yeah. And I think it's about time that they're starting to do their jobs and not getting overpowered by the wrestlers. This is where then MJF then got taken out there. Like, I'm not done with you yet. Like, you are hypocrites to the fans. I point them out. Like, when he got pushed right up on the stage, I started cracking up. I'm like, he's right on one thing, because when Hangman Page did this to Swerve Strickland's house, like after that, like everybody started liking him. But when MJF tried to do it, everybody will be booing the sugar honey iced tea out of him. But anyways, yeah. But also the way they tackled him, like, reminds me from this past Saturday when that certain Viper wrestler, like, tried to do his finishing maneuver that made everybody go, like, had to be written off been written off the show for weeks, many more weeks, because this move was presented the most dangerous and unforgiving move in all of pro wrestling at the time, which he tried to bring out one not only to this certain former friend of his that attacked him and tried to break his neck, which I'm not going to get into too much in the details, but the way the security tackled MJF would kind of remind me of the way they did with here, and I wouldn't be surprised if anybody online would be claiming that AEW is copying off that company, which I wouldn't look at it that way. I just look at it as a funny coincidence, like with them trying to do some very dangerous maneuvers to their opponents, like which is like a step too far, which they to the point that security needs to be bring down immediately. Which that's exactly what they did right here. But let me know in the comment section right down below about this. And do you think this this match that they're going to be having at AEW Revolution is going to turn into some kind of a lights out or unsanctioned match? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But I think it's going to be one of those stipulated matches that's going to be no DQ, with no rules onto the contest. But let's hope that Anthony Khan's going to be acting on this like much more sooner rather than later. Even if he does post it on only on social media and not on the show, like as long as it makes sense on paper, like for the event. But that's where we got a backstage interview, like with the director that made the Queen of the Ring film, like that's based by the female wrestler. What was her name? Was it Elizabeth Burke or something like that? It was Ash Avil. It was the writer director of Queen of the Ring. Yeah, Ash Adverb, and it's gonna be in theaters at this Friday, I believe. This where which we just talked about because Naomi was at the premiere with her husband. Yeah, Jimbo, which that's the only thing I'm gonna be talking about the other company's wrestlers. But this is where we got. But that's the only wrestler that's on. This is where we got Ash what's the name? Ash Advocate, like then or what's his name? Ash Appleton, that's what his name is. This word that he said. It was like, yeah, that's where Lexi Nair tried to ask, like, can you explain more details into the movie? Like, it is where it's like, of course, like it's based on a true story about of the legendary women's star in the business back like half a century ago, which was Mildred Burke. Not now I remember it's Mildred Burke, not Elizabeth Burke. I don't understand where I even came up with it. This was like. And this was she was like he said like she was a single mother that was a pioneer of women's wrestling. Like like when the time like when all over America, like it's an honor to bring a star onto the big silver screen. Is like with and it was a pleasure that we had Anthony Khan and Jim Ross to help produce. That told me about the book originally, like with me trying to make a wrestling film, which I give applause to them. And I'll say the same, it goes with Super Ninja Austin for this being the most intriguing wrestling film, especially when it's about the women, like which we heard plenty of wrestling movie about the men. Like, why not we do the same with the ladies? Like, which they should get the fair, like I said, plenty of times here on the podcast. I think they should have have more fair opportunities as the men do. But that's where we got. This where then but this is where Ash Evelton then introduced Tony Storm by saying it also featured this lady playing one of the women's. She's like, that is the connect. Like I'm gonna start into the film and like I'm gonna be the captivating champion, like in a gorgeous girl, like clearly at the stretch, like it's a magnificent feel. Like the only thing that I regret about the movie is my nude scenes are going to be cut, which, what's his name? Ash Evelton reminded Timeless Tony hilariously by saying that like it's rated PG-13, so you're not supposed to show so many nudity, like in some, or we're not supposed to, but there's some PG-13 rated movies that I know that do some nudity, but maybe that's because the males are the ones that's getting showed in the nude rather than the females. And maybe for those young male teens, not to be perving around with Tony Storm about what you look like without her clothes, like which that sounds very frightening just to talk about it. But anyway, yeah. But I'll say that should be the business between her and Juice Robinson, which I'm gonna leave it for, towards them. But that's where we got. That's where. But that's where Tony Storm was like, but like, no matter, like, but I have a Hollywood ending, but with Mariah May, which she pointed out, and she's like, and she gonna put her chin up, TITs out, and watch for the shoes. And I'm like, the one thing I can be relieved on about this film with AEW's AEW this wrestling film that's been sponsored with AEW, where they even showed like commercials about like on the other companies. Commercial breaks, which because it is about wrestling, of course, but yeah, like I can be relieved. Like when I watch the Queen of the Ring movie, I don't have to worry about seeing time with Tony Storm's nightmarish TITs. But anyways, this is where we got Thunder Rosa. Then It came out after this backstage segment. And let me know in the comments, do you want to see Queen of the Ring movie, which will be out in theaters this Friday? While they're talking about that, this is where we got what's her name? Penelope Ford then came out after Donna Rosa and Kristen Statlander, which I'm slowly but surely forgiving Kristen, even though I think that she needs to be thrown on the table at least one good time. And it don't even have to be a power bomb at this point. Like I just want to get this redemption over with, like fully. Like even though like the CEO did do like I'll say about probably like four. I'll say probably did like 3/4 of the damages onto Kristen, like of getting some redemption, including getting the dub over her. But anyways, this is where we got things started with Kristen and Penelope Ford. Like if it's 2021 all over again, like when they were feuding, when they had like when it was Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian and what's his name? Penelope Ford, Kip Sabian, and Miro, which he was the best man at the time playing that gimmick, like as an alliance with Kip Sabian, like when they took on Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy, Kristen Statlander, and Chuck Taylor of the Best Friends. But this is where we got her going face to face with Megan Bayne to see who's the biggest and the toughest woman in AEW. This is where we got this is where we got Penelope Ford to try to go for a headlock slam. Kristen countered it and tried to go for what's it called a Blue Thunder Bomb. And yeah, I kind of only just a couple of friends that are about my age, like the likes of but they're on YouTube like Stage Creator and Fanny Pack, which they're 23 going on 24. Excuse me for a moment. Hello. Hello. I'm here. Yeah, I can hear you. Very cool. Are you there, bro? Hello. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Glad to know. All right. Yeah. Easy. All right. Yeah. Anytime. Always a pleasure. Yes, story. Bye bye. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Oh, that's a star. Pass star pass. Alrighty, assassinators. I'm back here. Let's see. What happened next? There was in this women's tag team match. Oh yeah. He got Megan Bain. Eventually got attacked. She got attacked from behind. Is where. Well, before we got that, this is where we got Penelope Ford start going for flying head scissors until Kristen started rolling right into like what do they call like a power driver kind of position. This is where she tried to flip right out of it. This is where we got her then going for a middle drop kick. When she did so, like into a when she got Penelope into a snapmare position. This is where we got this is where we got Kristen Statlander go right to the upper left corner side, tags in Thunder Rosa, starting the back elbows right into the face. This is where we got yeah, wow. Hopefully that you have fun, like even though it's gonna be a snow day, like in your area. But anyways, this is where we got Thunder Rosa to start going for a knife edge chop onto Penelope. This is where she tried to throw into the right corner, but this is where Penelope countered to her instead. This is where we got Penelope hit the middle drop kick right onto the back of Rosa. This is where we got her trying to go for a pin, but this is where Rosa immediately kicks out at 2 point. What was it? Like 2.5, like a generic quarterback would call. This is where we got Rosa going for a middle drop kick. Then she goes for, and this is where she tags in Kristen Statlander, trying to go for springboard elbow. But this is where we got what's her name? Megan Bain to try to go for a missile. What they call what's it called? A pump kick. That's where we got Megan Bain throws Thunder Rosa right into Kristen, like knocking her off. That's where we got the heels to stand up tall with what's her name? Megan Bain looking at Penelope. This is where she picks her up right in the shoulder, like she was about to hit her with F5. But it's all just in the tag team process by tossing the British female star right onto Rosa and Kristen. This is where we got them bringing them back in the ring when the partial powerful force was on. But it's where we got. Kristen Statlander was back getting slowly but surely getting into the impact. Is where we start going for jawbreaker after jawbreaker, right onto what's her name? Megan Bain. So I hit some chops. Well, it was Rosa that was doing it, actually. It was Kristen already tagged her in by the time when the adverts came on. Is where Edward Thunder Rosa started going for what's that back slice kick it like right to the left and right. Then follow that up with a step up into Geary once she got hit her with one hit Megan Bain with 1 foot, but she hits her with the full kick. This is where we got this is where Thunder Rosa like, I gotta get back up. And then this is where then she tried raw tags in Kristen. This is where Kristen gets the big old hot tag. This is where we got the former TBS champion go for a crossbody right on to what's her name, Megan Bain. This is where she's like, yeah, you're next, Penelope. This is where she body drops her. This is where she goes for an uppercut. This is where she goes for a knee strike right to the bottom right corner side. This is where she gotta go for a cartwheel to a backdrop. But this is where she what's her name, by the time Kristen was already out of the way. This is where she grabbed onto Penelope, hit the sideways fisherwoman's arrow. This is where she tried to go for a pin, but Aubrey Edwards go for a pin, but immediately gets denied at 2 point. What was it? 8. Here's where she tags in Rosa. This is where the referee Aubrey was like, okay, like the Rosa's a legal woman, so don't take long, Kristen, to do this double team. This is where we got Kristen go for an uppercut. This is where she was on her knees like a human stepping stool. So we get Thunder Rosa could step right on top of her, for good measure to jump up in the air, pulling the Team Extreme, like of the poetry in motion, but like Thunder Rosa's dropkick version of it. This is where we got Megan Bain tried to go for a double clothesline, but it's where they go for a double super kick, pulling the Young Bucks, which that's the irresponsible EVPs that cannot even run a retail store. This is where we got Thunder Rosa in a back leg heel kick, super kick flying right into the face of Megan. This is where then we got Kristen going to the left side, hits a scissors kick like if she's her own version of that 5-time world champion guy. That's a 2-time Hall of Famer as well. This is where we got Kristen threw Megan right to the right corner side. Then Thunder Rosa then runs right to the left corner to the right. Then try to go for a baseball sliding kick right into the midsection. This is where she's like, hey, yeah, like that's what you get. Like this is where then she called her biscuit iced tea chicken hotcakes. And no, she's not. No, I'm not talking about no chicken biscuit that's at the side of hotcakes, like or flapjacks, whatever we call it. But anyway, this is where then we got what's her name? Penelope Ford then caught what's her name? Kristen in the distraction by tripping her over face first right to the upper right corner by flexing on their unflexible muscles, like not showing them completely just having fun with it. But this is where we got Thunder Rosa then grab her by the hair. This is where they try to go for like a this is where they got Thunder Rosa and grab her by the hair, try to go for like a headlock. This is where then I believe she did like some kind of maneuver that Penelope Ford did her not long ago. Like, and then she start licking her right to the face, like what Penelope Ford did to her earlier. Like if she was Raven, that wrestler that did that when after DDT Tommy Dreamer, like when they were at when they were wrestling in that company that they used to partner with, but now their arch rival company, the other company's partnering with them now. I'm not sure if I should mention their company's name by name, but that's like kind of similar like he did, but he did it more creepier. But this is where we got Thunder Rosa's like, all right, now it's time to finish her off, and then this is where then we got this is where we got what's her name? This is where Thunder Rosa go over her finisher Empire Driver maneuver, but she ends up getting pushed right to the corner into the bottom right corner side by Megan. This is where Megan gets tagged in. Both women then dives with her to their diagonal side, which I believe that was a ginormous mistake because what if Kristen got back up at any moment? They didn't of it through. This is where they try to go over her elbow. This is where she gets kicked right into her arm. This is where she gets booed right. This is where Megan Bain gets booed right into her face. And it's where then we got Thunder Rosa did some chops right onto to both Penelope and Megan. This is where then she go for a back to Megan, then a forward to what's her name to Penelope. But when the last time she hit the chop, she also followed up with a back elbow right into the face, and along with a stunner, like if she's a certain rattlesnake, even though that guy's in the other company, but she's Texas rattlesnake herself because she is from the state of Texas. But this is where we got the Thunder Rosa then tried to go for her body slam maneuver, but Penelope somehow countered out of it. This is where she pushed her right corner. This is where she Thunder Rosa tried to go for clothesline onto her, but she ends up ducking out of the way. This is where Megan Bain picks her up, hits her with the F10 maneuver. This is where they get the 1, 2, 3. Winner of this match, Penelope Ford and Megan Bain. And for this match, I would give it the silver trophy next to the women's the 8-man tag match. But man, this match was brought to you by Queen of the Ring. Yeah, give a shout out to all those female wrestlers and their fans, because they very tough and talented themselves. And you better give them credit when credit is due. I got a hint. But yeah, huge congratulations to these ladies. Hopefully that we will see them get more opportunities in their future. Well, especially Megan Bain, because Megan Bain looks already ready to get to the path of women's world championship gold. But up next, hopefully that we get some redemption though with Thunder Rosa and Kristen Statlander, because if they just look weak after this match, hopefully there's gonna be some follow up. But yeah, this match was totally was tremendous, and hopefully we'll get more of it. But anyways, from one wrestling women's wrestling angle to another, which it's not really a match, much rather than a backstage interview segment with the unmarkable Renee Paquette was interviewing the CEO and current TBS New Japan Strong. What's that? The other one's the Rev Pro and Queen of Death Women's Championships. 4 belts Monet herself, the CEO Mercedes Monet, which she gave a shout out to Sacramento. How very cool of her. And this is where she told her to say hello, which who wouldn't say hello to her because she's the most coolest female wrestler that you could possibly ever meet. But anyways, this is where we got Renee Paquette asking questions about Momo Watanabe to her. This is where then she was like, well, look, Renee, like I can't deny this. She is the legit, like she's one of the best in Japan. Like she's beaten most of the best to say the very least. And she and now like when she won that Women's World Cup, she has a shot against my title, which is the TBS Championship. But yeah, she's like, but here, let me tell you, like I am the greatest TBS champion of all time for a good reason. That's why I'm about to be the longest reigning champ, which I hope she does. Like to make a statement sent right back to that certain Storm woman, since she wanted to go over that company that the CEO used to wrestle for. But anyways, this is where then we got this where. And that's where Renee's like, yeah, and there's no stopping the money train, like which she, I don't know how she got that right. What the CEO was about to say, this was like, that's right, like that's right, like that's what I wanted you to say. This is where the Renee's like, but before we do get in the Revolution, my mama will be facing Serena Deeb at Collision. Like, you got any prediction on the match? This is where the CEO that was really rooting for Serena, she's like, we're talking about Serena, like the professor of the women of 1,000 holes, like she's like. And then this Saturday on Collision, she's gonna be watching up close, which that'll be a very perfect plan to do. And like to see not only what Momo has to offer, but also like what if Serena Deeb beats the next contender? Like who could blame the CEO for doing this? But anyways, this is where we got her to say like, yeah, and I predict that the professor like. She's gonna break the limbs of Momo, which some might say this is gonna be a harsh prediction, like, and not to mention like generally harsh, like for her to say, for her wishing a death wish on the Momo, but she got to understand like that you do not mess with the CEO. But this is where we got her to. Is that like how about you gonna do that for me? And it's like it's gonna be a walk-in park situation when I do if not fighting her, which hopefully that like everything works out great for her upcoming title defense. But anyways, this is where we got. This word like there's gonna be a walk in the park. Like this word the CEO's like because of what? And this word Renee for some weird reason thought she was talking about her main primary catchphrase by saying there's a price to pay when you mess with Mercedes Moné, but she was like no. Like it's money changes everything. Like you need to start learning when the time to say those phrases. This was like not that one. Like. Yeah, but she just said like money changes everything, which who could blame her for saying those statements? We really do change, and not like, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like the love of money is the root of all evil, but for the simple fact that it does help out like with your financial life and everything costs money these days. So yeah, like who could argue onto that statement? But anyways. Yeah, like, and I want to ask you this question before I ask again this Saturday. Unless if I talk about on the wrestling news, who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's going to be the CEO Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship, or is it going to be Mono Watanabe? Let me know in the comments down below. Why are you rallying? Excuse me for a moment. Hopefully, this is not a waste of time, Samson. Calm down. Anybody knock that dog? I don't get him. It's going out, Miri. Anyways, moving on, we got Maximilian Caster like coming out, or Platinum Maximilian Caster. He came out there, cut my music like a certain other fellow Max wrestler in AEW because that's his scumbag, like he said about a year or two ago, which I believe I talked about it here on the SNA podcast. It was when I very first started doing these podcast videos. But it's where we got Maximilian. Hello, Sacramento. You are looking live at the best wrestler alive. And then this is where fans start like, boo, we don't want to hear any more of your crap. And this is where Maximilian Caster, when we all know, like, Platinum Max is the most talked about wrestler. And I was like, yeah. I was like, he is the most talked about, but not for the good reasons. But anyways, this is where Maximilian Caster finally got to the point along with him, like trying to force and manipulate the fans to say, let's go, Max, to tell them to root for him that way, is that you are the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. And this is where everybody's like, shut up. And this is where we finally got somebody to shut him up when he called him out. It was none other than Switchboy Jay White. And this was like, oh no, like it's this man. And this was yes, sir, was indeed the man that was aligning himself with the rated R superstar Cope and what's his name? what's the other one? What's the other, Will the Pillow Nightingale, the Night and Terror, and the one that wants to go bang bang with Renee Paquette, but she's not bangable. Like, and I hope I don't get canceled on YouTube for saying that. But anyways, this is where we got Switchboy Jay White then say, okay, your time to start. This is where Maximilian start pointing out the published papers of that's been published by the government, which I believe that they're full of liars and lazy people. But anyways, this is where then this is where we got this is where we got Maximilian Caster to start saying, let's go, Max. Let's go, Max. Where Jay White's like, all right, I had enough of this shenanigans. This is where Jay White then hits the Blade Runner when he turned around, giving the three most devastating letters in all pro wrestling a run for its money. Like, and this is where then he goes for the pin. But first he was like, let's go, Max. I'm mocking him. He's like, but then we're going to get a 1, 2, 3. And that's where he ends up doing so. And this is where, he became a victim of his own self of this open challenge, because like this is gonna be much more of a comedic act rather than anything serious. With Jay White and got on the microphone to give a shout of his latest ally, which they have a common enemy out of the Death Riders, because of John Moxley does not like it when Jay White starts hitting on Renee, which I would say, I'll say that's the one thing I would agree with John Moxley, like why he wants to do that, because like I said, she's dateable. Well, I just said dateable like that. Okay, never mind what I just said. Pretend I didn't just say that. But this is where Jay White's like at World's End, like the rated R superstar, with him spitting facts on what's going to be happening, which who can argue with the Switchblade? He's going to dethrone John Moxley. And he's like, we're going to be seeing a new AEW World Champion in Los Angeles in the Crypto.com arena. This is where he's like, and I will indeed be there and see the new world champion. And this was and another thing, and his name is the rated R superstar Cope. And this is where he dropped the microphone, making it do what they call a ricochet gesture by shooting like a 180 or if not a 90 in the air. This is where then he did the same with Max Caster's little paper printed I'll say trademark name, like is the best wrestler alive, whatever you want to call it. This where it's like, keep this useless thing, because that's the only thing you're going to be good at, is be known as into the platinum status, is by taking the easy way out of trying to get your name on a piece of paper. But it's where we got that's not even worth the ink it's been printed on. But it's where we got this is where we got a face-to-face segment, a face-to-face interview between the two competitors, like for the AEW Women's World Championship, between the champ, timeless Toni Storm, taking on Mariah May, like when they were. That sounds yummy. Tacos, like as we had a few nights ago, and it was very scrumptious. It was like the spicy nacho tacos and the Doritos kind of tacos, but they were like probably the El Paso brand, I guess, the El Paso brand tacos. That's what we had, basically. Yeah. But anyways, this is where we got Toni Storm. Then Mariah May did start having some kind of bipolar disorder issues, because first she start getting angry, start cussing up a storm. No pun intended. Like this is where then Renee Paquette then said something intelligent. I'm like, how come you can't say this? So how come you can't be this? How come you can't be this logical? Like when you're interviewing the likes of like the CEO Mercedes Moné, like with some dignity and some respect, but yet you always like be so logical, like when interviews with someone like Mariah May, except she was scolding her, like, which she had a good reason for that, because Mariah May, let's be honest, she's not in her right mind. Saying, well, at least in kayfabe, that of course, like I didn't mean any of that, and I'm not saying that to be scared. I'm just pointing out the logic into the matter. But anyway, this is where we got Toni Storm. This is where This is gonna get the bronze trophy of the night, I guess you could say, with Renee Paquette. Like, what the hell's wrong with you screaming those very bad languages? Which I don't know what she said. She said it so quickly, but it's where this is where my look what you made me do. And that's when she started crying. Like she's like, this is somebody that I love. And it's where Renee Paquette's like, oh boy. Who could blame her for saying that? But even though like she needs some more she needs the more learning when it comes to her journalism because it's been a little flat lately. Like, but when it comes to being a journalist with others, for some reason, like for an examples, like for wrestlers like these, like putting them in their place, or wrestlers uh like the conglomeration with Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe, like she knows exactly what to do and like be a professional to them because like they're because because of what's that called because like yeah because yeah they're very cool with one another like maybe in general but at the same time like that's what she should be doing in general as well like being a very say professional and a very real commentator or not commentator a journalist I mean but it's when Mariah May was like you're dead you're the victim like you started this you created all this like you're the one that did this Tony like you're the one that did like, you're the one that started. This is where Renee Paquette was finally speaking more logic by saying, "You're the one that started this in the first place, woman." And it is where the Mariah May like, I didn't do such a thing of neither of these things. Like I would never do that. Like she was my idol. She was my inspiration. Why would I do this to her? And this is where then she started. I'm about to. And that's where she start going angry mode next because she has some bipolar disorder. Hopefully, I don't sound offensive to those that are suffering it. But anyways, this is where we got. She was like it was all because of you, and she's like getting angry. So look at the like that title is nothing without me. Because I'm. Like you survived me in Australia, and the way she said sounded like she's from a demon from hell. I can see why she calls herself the woman from hell, or some kind of a demon girl, whatever you want to call her. But and that's where them around me like there won't be no surviving me and because we're gonna both go down together. And that's where you like and the uh, and like and you're proud of me because I'm a sick bitch. Like and this where then this where Mariah made it continue well I'll be the sickest well and I apologize for saying it again like because these are very inappropriate words. Like last year I haven't been saying, but since that if it's not been censored, I'm gonna say it too, which that shouldn't be like this is out of context. Everybody's gonna be saying like if they fall off a cliff, that's what you do. Like no, like I'm just doing this because I'm gonna make it more accurate, not because I want to follow everything what they say. But this is where she's like I'm a. But this is where Mariah May said she's gonna promise that she's gonna be a sick bitch for Tony Storm, and I apologize for saying those bad languages. But this is where she was like, and I'm a deep, and I'm gonna drag you down to hell with me because yeah, she's a demon lady. This is where she's like, and I'm gonna tell you that Mariah did it, and then this is where then. And then Mariah May's like, is this what you wanted? Like, this is what you want to tell me? This is where start going smiling, then start being sad, and yeah, this is I'll be your greatest customer. And we're gonna be the first ever woman to tell the ring to revolution. Like, which I think that's very inaccurate because we saw plenty of women fought for the women's championship for the last 5 years at the pay-per-view since 2020, since it's been in existence. But when the more I mentioned, I wish what happened. I we always dream of Tony. And this is where it's like, what is that? And that's where then what's her name? Tony Storm then got real with her, which is the one thing. And the one thing I would totally agree with her. She said like, you don't know the dignity of death, or let alone the definition. And it is where then she was like I censored it for a lifetime of mediocrity. Right, your life will continue after, like your career will continue, and it'll be good. Like with them, for her pointing out the realistics into things. This is where the Tony Storm to continue to state that people like you but never love you. Which who would? This was like in the start, like it will. Like this star that you are won't compare to the monster have you become. So you dwindle. Like that in your place to be forgotten, like at the same time. And then one day, many years from now, like somebody may ask, like, whatever happened to Mariah May? And that's where did she found out what happened? Like when you try to kill God. And then this where then Mariah May didn't start acting like a female Satan, while Tony Storm, for some reason, was starting to be like a female god. Like if he was, which this is a hypothetical statement. Hopefully, the man upstairs, that guy of creator, like. Oh, I apologize about that. I'm so sorry. Hopefully, I didn't hurt your feelings. Like I did not say anything offensive. But anyway, this is where we got that is where we got what's that? Hopefully that God don't strike me down here like with his lightning. I'm just doing my job being a unbiased journalist, just pointing out the logic about the segment in wrestling. But that's where that we got Mariah May threw the chair because she got very angry, like when the Tony Storm then shouted like yeah, like you're mad that you can't step up to God. Like, and this is where she got mad. This is where they start being like a female version of Satan and God. This is where Mariah May is I meant every single thing that I did to you horribly. And then this is where the Tony Storm didn't phase about. You already knew. And this is where she's like, I'll see you this Sunday. And this is where we will be seeing them fight for the AEW Women's Championship. And but yeah, let me know in the comments down below who do you think is going to walk out of this Hollywood ending kind of contest and in this rivalry for good without going back. Let me know down in the comment section right down below, Assassinators. But anyway, this is where we got the main event of the evening, which you had Ricky the Dicky then team up with the wannabe Rainmaker that thinks he can control the rain, which is and I apologize. Hopefully, this is going to be the last time I say Kazuchika Okada's nickname, the bitch man Kazuchika Okada. But anyways, yeah, they're going to be taking on Swerve Strickland and Brody King. And yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I was being kind of a biased a-hole, like when. But this is where we got Kazuchika Okada then attacks Brody King. That showed like when what's her name, when Julia Hart lost to Queen Aminata, which I was shocked that she did lost to her. But I was not also amused of Kazuchika Okada like doing that and giving Brody King the finger. And then this is where then we got but this is where we got the match, which they were both Swerve and Brody King was kicking butt, but I was not much of a fan of what happened at the end, which I kind of spoiled it right there. But anyway, this is where we got the match started. It was, I believe, was Swerve and Okada, because Ricky the Dicky was so much of a coward to start off with the man that's going to fight this Sunday. And the thing is, they won't be hiding for long. Like when they get into that exact same squared circle, that's where we got Swerve taking on Okada. This is where we got oh, good. I'm glad that. I'm glad that it was something offensive like with the cries of tears of joy. Yeah, I hope I don't sound offensive because I'm not making fun of nobody. Like just except for the bad guy wrestlers like that are being ridiculous, but that's their job. Like it is our job to hate them and boo them and talk trash on them. And it's very funny and entertaining. That's why I'm doing the podcast right now, because it's what I basically would act like if I was watching it on television. But this is where we got Okada to go for a wrist lock right onto Swerve. This is where then we got Swerve Strickland start fighting back, start grabbing onto his hand. This is where he tried to go for a wrist lock. This is where he twisted, tried to go for a hammerlock maneuver. This is where he tried to turn into some kind of hammerlock slamming maneuver. This is where Okada tried to hit him with a waist lock, but this is where Swerve counters him into a headlock. This is where he ends up getting pushed right to the bottom right corner side, with the referee's like, all right, that's enough. Like, let go, or else 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is where he got somebody in his chest, where he ends up hitting him right to the chest. Is where the Swerve Strickland was like, okay, I'm gonna let him slide this time, but you're not gonna be lucky this time. That's where Prince Nana starts out, who's the house? And that's where fans start telling him that it's Swerve's house. That's where Okada's like, okay, are you ready to face your arch nemesis now, Ricky the Dicky? He's asking you. That's what Okada said with his and I hope I don't sound offensive, but but with his bitch ass, and this where then we got I know like bad languages, but anyways, this where then he tags Ricky the Dicky in. This where then he that's where then Swerve to like, yeah, like Ricky, okay, like I'm not afraid of no Swerve, and this is where Anthony Khan gave me another reason why I hate Ricochet, because he's teaming with O'Connor. And what happened next? They started doing a 2-on-1 beatdown, but luckily Brody King to try to come in, but the incompetent referee had to come in and stop him, which I understand like why Rick Knox then allowed Ricky the Dicky and Okada to do it, but Brody King, like when he tried to come in, he gets stopped. Like, and I was like, what a hypocritical referee, with all due respect to Rick Knox. I just don't understand referees. They're the most sacred heels in all of pro wrestling. Like, they're heels in denial. Because why are they helping out the heel wrestlers if they're not? But anyways, it's where we got Okada following back into his post. This is where Brody King just closed on him. I'm like, yeah, I know that's right. I'm like, yeah, like that megastar that the other company say, like, is his catchphrase. Like, yeah, like finally, like he's getting what he deserves. This is where Brody King didn't do more damages. He not give no dangs that what's his name said. What's his name? Or what Brody King said. This is where then he dips him right. Brody King don't give no damns on what the referee says. He just put him right to a chair, sitting him down while kicking his butt by beating the heck out of him, like right to the bottom left side to the upper right corner side. That's where Brody King grabbed on the side fans, which said his name, like, yeah, it's all about me and Swerve. This word, and Swerve Strickland was like, okay, well, how about we do a double team? This is where Brody King like, sounds good to me. That's where he goes for a running knee strike while Brody King threw Swerve, like knee first right to the face of Ricky the Dicky, and that's where the screen blurred out into green, which I believe he must have hit a fuse. Luckily, he didn't knock out the whole entire broadcast, but it kind of reminded me of yesterday on the other company's developmental show, like it did on the main, like when the main event where it green out, I should say, but this is where we got Kazuchika kind of tried to go over a boot onto Swerve Strickland, but Swerve Strickland moved out of the way. This is where we got Okada booting what's his name? Ricky the Dicky instead. This is where then we got Swerve Strickland going for a boot right to the face, going to him. I was like, yes, come on, Swerve, do it. This is where we got that's when even Swerve started barking with the fans, what Brody King was about to do, because he was about to go for a crossbody right on and smashing both Ricochet, like if it's a pancake sandwich, like a first ever thing, like in professional wrestling, like being the most ridiculous pancake sandwich in all of wrestling, both Ricochet and Okada, like which is Ricky the Dicky and Bitch Man, like you call him, that thinks he can control the weather. But it's where Brody King and Ricochet was on the shoulders, which was helped by Swerve Strickland. I put him up there. It's where Swerve hit a double stomp right onto both of the heels. It's where Swerve, it's where fans like, yeah, this is the reason why this is your house. Is where Prince Down like, yeah, like this is the Swerve that I want. And this is why I was like, yeah, me too. Like if I am his ally, like, or his brother, whatever you want to call him, which I guess you get in kayfabe, like if we ever encounter, I hope that we start out as a team and then we could split with me like turning on him, which I'm giving out a little bit of spoilers, like what could it be like if we be in the same ring with one another. But this is where we got Brody King threw Swerve right to the bottom left side. This is where Swerve should hit an uppercut, then snapmares him right to the middle of the ring, where Brody King runs to the bottom corner to the back to the middle, which he goes for a senton. Swerve and hits the back uppercut, with him going for the side by side version of the walk and run, like that Swerve version, while doing a little bear, grab on some imaginary dirt and then dump it right on top of Ricky the Dicky, which fans are cheering him more louder than before. Like they start doing that dance, like Justin Jefferson would do. This is where we got Swerve Strickland to dip him right to the top corner side to the bottom. Here's where Swerve run to the right. But this is where we got Ricky the Dicky try to go for a roundhouse kick. Swerve boots him right in the face when Ricky tried to run up him. This is where it's an elbow strike, something that your boy SNA would have done, which I hope that we do become a team. Well, at least in temporary purposes, and maybe even win tag team gold. But this is where we got Ricky the Dicky didn't try to go for a pin on the Swerve, but this is where Swerve immediately kicks out at 2.2. This is where we start stomping him repeatedly. This is where then we got is where we got the most powerful force into all the professional wrestling, which is the which is the commercial break, like, well, partial commercial break, let me rephrase that. But this is where, well, once he got done with the adverts, this is where then we got, this is where we got, what, this is where we got Kazuchika Okada was on top, like, because, yeah, I mean, of course, like, they must be fan favorites of this guy. Well, I was once a fan's favorite of Okada. I'm just not a fan of him now because he's just a horrible human being. But anyway, this is where we got him going for an elbow strike. This is where Swerve Strickland move out of the way. Smart move of the mogul of doing so. This is where he tried to go for a tag to the Hell Dog. But this is where we got Okada trying to grab onto him from behind. Like, nope. This is where Ricky, this is where, I mean, Swerve Strickland hit him with a fisherman's back suplex backbreaker like maneuver, whatever you call. And this is where we got Okada go for a dropkick, but this is where Swerve Strickland counters out of it. This is where we got Swerve Strickland to try to crawl right up to Brody King. Brody King done let both heels have it, which Brody King did just basically Mac trucked Ricky the Dicky, and then he flapjacked Okada when he was trying to run up in his way, but he dodged out of the way. Flapjacking him in the left side where Okada just ran from. This is where he gets a senton right to his back. Then we got Brody King picks him right up, then hits him with the Death Valley Driver, which I totally appreciate from the Hell Dog, which I was very happy for him of doing that maneuver because that's your boy SNA's finisher, the most dominating move in all of professional wrestling. And I probably would have gotten away with it. This is where I started imagining that was me doing it. Like when if I was in the ring with the Rainmaker or so-called Roy Rainmaker, that's nothing but a bitch, man. Excuse my language for saying that, but this is where I tried to go for a pin. You would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that PTSD making Ricky the Dicky that had the medal, that the count, like, and jeopardized that. And this is where the Ricochet and then got back up. This is where he's like, no, like, it's not what you think. This is where Brody King like, oh, it is what I think it is. It's where he throws Ricky the Dicky right into the left side. This is where he tried to throw Okada right into that exact same corner. Okada still staying in the ring. This is where he hang on to the rope. This is where he trying to close on him out along with Ricky. But this is where we got what's his name. This is where we got, what's his name? Okada ducks out of the way, try to go for a clothesline. Ricochet hits him with an enziguri. This is where they follow that up with Okada go for a drop kick, with Ricochet going for a springboard frog splash. Then we got go for a pin, Okada. This is where we got, what's his name? Brody King hit the shoulder, got the shoulder up at 2.99999999999 double triple nine minus 0.0 away from being 3. Like, I don't know how Brody King kicked out of this immediately. This is where we got Okada try to go over a crossbody, try perhaps a meteor, which I see what he's trying to do, which is probably the reason why SNA hates him, because he's trying to be someone that he's not trying to be, and also trying to be with somebody that he's not supposed to be with. But anyways, this is where we got Brody King trying to go over an attack, but he gets kicked right to the head. This is where then we got that's where we got Brody King was like, oh, you woken up the demon hound in me. This is where he goes for a clothesline, even though I don't associate with demons. Like, that's his business, though. Like, and if he wants to destroy guys that SNA do not like, he's a friend of his, even if they're like somehow in the dark side. But at the same time, like, I'm not gonna pay attention to that, but I'm just gonna pay attention that Okada's getting his butt kicked as he deserves to. This is where Swerve Strickland then go up right into the upper left corner side, saying, tag me in. This is where I was like, yeah, tag him in, give him the hot tag. This is where he ends up doing so. But this is where Ricky the Dicky then gets the lukewarm tag by Okada. This is where he thought he was going to get away with it with Brody King like he did in the Continental Classic. But this is where when he realized he tagged and Swerve, he thought trying to avoid him as much as possible. Like nope, like, I'm out of here. This is where and then Swerve Strickland started hitting the forearms after forearms. Like, this is where then he dipped him right to the right corner side to the left. This is where he tried to go for a hip toss right on to the Dicky. This is where I gotta admit Ricky did sell it perfectly like a champ. Like, just going leap up and then flip him like if he's going for like a suicide cannonball dive. This is where we got Swerve Strickland to hit a brain buster right on to him to follow that up with. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but this is where we got Ricky the Dicky ends up kicking out at 2.4. And then Swerve Strickland like, okay, like, yeah, fair enough. This is where we got. This is where the show Ricochet had a Band-Aid on his head because he got stuck right into the with a pair of scissors Swerve Strickland hit him with right into the forehead, because that's exactly what the Dicky did to the mogul like not that long ago, like about a few weeks ago, if not a month ago, back in February, was it? This is where Ricochet then go for a powerbomb onto Swerve, but Swerve flip right out of it, elbow strike him right to the face. This is where he try to go to the right, left course side. This is where he gets over the cartwheel kick right to the head. This is where he goes for a roundhouse kick right to the midsection. Ricochet then go up and get the discus clothesline. Swerve ducks with wrist locks. Go for a power bomb, but this is where Ricky then go for a DDT and interception. This is where he try to go for a pin with 1, 2. That's where he kicks out. This is where Swerve Strickland like. Right, no, I don't hate the Chiefs. I'm talking about Okada. I hate Okada, not the Chiefs. Of course not. That's my back-to-back Super Bowl team. Yeah, that's my boys. Like they're the complete opposite of Kazuchika Okada and Ricochet. Yeah. But if there were some slip-ups, I apologize about that if I did say so. But I was talking about the Philadelphia Eagles because Ricochet was right out on AEW Dynamite tonight. But anyways, but this is where we got what's her name? This is where we got what's his name? Like this is where we got what's his name? Ricky the Dicky then try to go for an elbow drop, but this is where then we got onto not elbow, the back clothesline flying maneuver onto Ricochet. But this is where Swerve dodges out of the way. Who could blame him doing so? But it's where Ricochet somehow countered and do a reverse DDT, that vertical DDT maneuver. But Swerve Strickland trying to counter into a big pressure. This is where we got Ricky the Dicky then try to go into a wheelbarrow roll, but luckily Swerve kicked out of it right on top of 2.7. Swerve and go for a rolling flip face plant right onto Ricochet. Then he tried to go for a kip up. Then we got Swerve Strickland and going for the house call, which that's starting to give me some future PTSD because I'm afraid of getting hit with that maneuver, which I hope that's going to be like the orange punch. Like, that's a move that I'm not immune to getting hit by. But anyways, that's where we got but this is where then we got Brody King like, come on, tag me in, Swerve. Like, I want to get tagged this Swerve. Ricochet was like, okay, I will gladly tag you in. As soon as I finish him off, like if it is already AEW Revolution live at the crypto.com. But this is where Brody King like, no, I have a better idea. How about you just pin him after you get done? This is where he's like, all right, no problem. This is where Swerve trying to go for a pin. And they would have easily gotten away with this win if it wasn't for that with that meddling bitch man, because it's going to Okada. But yeah, this is where he then go for a dive runner, which I'm surprised Swerve did not notice. This is where then we got Brody King coming and intervene with the mogul. Start hitting some forearm strikes right back and forth with each other. This is where we got that's where Okada then there's the elbow drop. This is where he go for a knife edge chop right into his chest. This is where we got Brody King then try to go up and picked him up right onto the do another Death Valley drop, but he forgot Lightning does not strike twice unless he found the double whammy card. This is where then he unfortunately did not do so, but this is where then what happened next? Like, well, I was about to say I'm totally out of words right now. But this is where Kazuchika Okada then going for Rainmaker, but this is where Brody King boots him right to the arm. This is where then he then splashed the bitch man that thinks he can control the rain by knocking him right over the top upper right corner side. This is where oh yeah, that's what it was. He slapped him so hard you would thought the ring general did it, but he's at the second place spot because Uncle Dax the Axe is still the reigning defending champ of being the number one the most envious wrestler that Gunther envies in professional wrestling, I guess you could say. But this is where we got Brody King to start making the fans start barking. He start barking more than a dog park. Like, he started making everybody bark more than a dog starting a bark clan in a dog park, I guess you could say. But this is where he goes for a cannonball. But this is where, unfortunately, Okada moved right out of the way before he could successfully execute on him. Here's where Okada passed him. Oh, no, this is where he grabbed onto his Continental Championship, trying to whack him in the face with it. But luckily, Swerve stopped him. He was the smart move with him house calling him like something that he would do with Super Ninja Austin. Yeah, what's the house call? Yeah, he hit him with that back leg kick. Boom! Like, this way, knocked him right to the left side of his head, knocking him down right onto the bottom corner rope. So it looked like something that Super Ninja Austin would do. Like, if he was in a tag team match against Swerve, trying to hit a tag partner with a steel chair, but only to get house called right into the side of the head. This is where we got and make him do like a 360 or make him do some kind of a backflip like a certain final boss did when he got stunned by a certain rattlesnake. But anyways, this is where we got That's where Swerve Strickland's like, all right, Brody, it's your time. That's where he closed on him out and made both of them flip right over the top rope. And you know Brody King is a huge dude. He's a big old hound son of a gun, like that weighs over 300 pounds. And he flipped right along with him, like boom, and he knocked his thumb right onto the outside. This is where we got Swerve Strickland trying to grab onto what's his name, Ricky the Dicky. This is where he hits him right to the face with the Continental Championship, which I believe he wished that he was that belt. This is where he tried to go for the win, which he ends up winning because it's old heel fashion. And yeah, you already guessed it. Needless to say, Ricky the Dicky and Kazuchika Okada get the win, and they don't deserve no congratulations from your boy SNA because they don't deserve it. I'm so done with myself. But yeah, I know congratulations, but yeah, they get the win. But beside all that, AEW Dynamite was very very fun to watch, even though it's not its greatest, but still was at its best, like when it comes to the middle level. Like, and I hope that we see some a good payout on AEW Revolution, even if we got some unexpected moments. Like, I hope that's gonna be in some capacity. Oh, like Uncle Super Ninja Austin's. But ain't Uncle SNA a bit too big to be collecting this toys?
No, I bought it for you.
But okay, but Uncle SNA would love to play it as soon as he gets done with his podcast. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I bought it for you so you can play with it.
All right, whatever you say.
I got one more thing to drive.
All right, no problem.
Camilla police car. I will get it.
All right, no problem. But yeah, I'll get that. I guess you can say that was the end of your AEW Dynamite. But I'll give Dynamite tonight, thanks to the main event being such a horrible moment, I'll give it a 4-star show. But I usually would give it 4.5. But since it was Okada and Ricky the Dicky had to win, I would say, yeah, I'm going to have to downgrade it just a little bit by a quarter of a star. But yeah, but other than that, AEW Dynamite was totally fantastic with their segments, the other matches. Like, yeah, you can go down the list all day long. Like, yeah, they did it. Most of the parts, like, which I understand why some people love criticizing online about AEW, like saying that they're not on the level of the other company, but like they don't have to be in order to be such an entertaining show, just like that company. But let me know down in the comment section right down below about Dynamite tonight for those actual AEW fans. And if I hope you enjoyed this video. And if so, please make sure to hit the big thumbs up button. And also hit the subscribe and the post notification bell for more along with other wrestling videos, wrestling daily review and news videos, along with the animation and movie news and review videos. Like over at the other channel at SNA Entertainment, which I do at least make each of animation and animation and a movie news video once a week, like on every Thursdays and Saturdays. Which reminds me, make sure to check that out tomorrow, where I'll be from animation series to anime. Like we're gonna be talking about the wildest and intriguing wildest and intriguing animation news and rumors that you SNA assassinators need to know from the Wired article. Yeah, the Wired animation article, I should say. And also make sure to check out this Friday on this channel at Super Ninja Austin for the wrestling news, which I'll be talking about the wildest and intriguing news stories and rumors that you assassinators need to know from the WrestleZone article. And yeah, and we're also going to be talking about the post-show SmackDown after Elimination Chamber, which is going to be the show going to be. It's the SmackDown after that chaotic Elimination Chamber event, which you're going to probably see on what I'm going to be saying on the description, where I put the hashtags. Along with the hashtags, let me rephrase that. But anyways, and also please make sure to check those out as well. Like I'm totally yeah. Thank you so much for watching to the very, very end. And I hope that you assassinators have a wonderful and a super awesome night. And I'll see you guys next time with some more SNA content. To meet again, Super Ninja Austin out of here. And And the only thing I know about like on SmackDown is probably like perhaps like we're gonna see like we're I hear like a promo about what happened afterwards on Elimination Chambers, like between what's his name like with Cody Rhodes or the what's that called or the Rock or something like or the Rock either the Rock or Cody Rhodes cut a promo and break the silence on what happened like this past Saturday of John Cena's heel turn. But other than that, I'm not sure what's going to be happening on that night. And also, we're going to probably get some explanations from Jay Cargill, I guess you could say, which you're probably going to be hearing, like, which I'm going to be talking about as well, like, and probably get explain like why she did it, which she could possibly be the attacker of Naomi, which I wonder why that Naomi could possibly do if that's the case. But I'll see you guys there on this channel, like this Friday on the Super Ninja Austin. But at SNA Entertainment, I will be seeing y'all tomorrow, like with the animation news. So see you guys, very, very soon, like for you assassinated all around the globe. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.